This is exactly how we helped our clients ChronosWorlds raise over $1 million and generate over 3 million impressions in under 6 months and with under $50,000 spent. So here's a screenshot from their latest analytics. It does say about 1.9 million impressions, but it does get to about 3 million. And you'll see that as I break down some of the 3 key strategies that we implemented for them. So I do suggest you stick around with me for that. But before we actually dive into this video, right? So who am I? My name is Juan. I'm the founder and CEO of Webflow.io. And over the last 2 years, we've helped project founders in Web3 with their marketing approach. So just to give you a quick recap, because I don't want to spend too much time on me, over the last, the first 2 quarters of 2024, our team really helped clients, generate over 13 million impressions on Twitter, work with over 15 clients, raise over $6 million for them, and we've worked with over 300 KOLs in the space to achieve these results. So here you can see, kind of some of the results. This is me, handsome. But before we continue in this video, the reason why I wanted to share this video with you guys today is to show you behind the curtains of how we were able to get these results for our clients and how any project founder out there can pretty much implement some of these strategies into their campaign right away and get very similar results. So, before we dive into some of the strategies, talking about ChronosWorlds, right? We first need to understand who ChronosWorlds even is and what that project really entails. So ChronosWorlds is a PC and mobile RPG based game where you're able to fight monsters while going through AI generated dungeons to get rewards and power up your characters, and also compete against PvP players in real-time PvP matches. The team behind Chronos has been building this game for around 2 years and has partnered with some of the biggest companies in Web3. Like Cetify, Elixir, Games.gg, Xwork, and many, many more. So here you can see a little bit of the IP. This plays a big role into kind of their success that they had, right? So I do want to dive into that here in a second. So how did ChronosWorld even become one of the most anticipated mints in Q2? There's 2 main things that really play into this, this success that this project had. So first of all, congrats to the team. They had an amazing product. They had some great, some great branding and great visuals. That were very easy to push forward into the community that already loves great visuals, great products, great teams that have been building for quite some time. And this is kind of where when we really came in, right? So we were able to implement 3 key strategies that help build their core community and become a trusted brand in the space. So what were we able to implement for them, right? So the 3 main things: collaborations, partnerships, and KOLs. So what does this actually result in, right? So when you mix all of these, and I am going to break each one down, later on in the video, it resulted in over the 3 million impressions that I mentioned, over $1 million raised. I believe right now it's about 1.5. We were able to achieve 15,000 MAUs on their Only Up minigame, so that's monthly active users on their game, 40,000 signups to their SocialFi platform, 35,000 new followers, 15,000 new Discord members. We had content go out from over 200 creators. We collaborated with over 200 communities in the space from gaming, some of the bigger players in the space. We helped them sell out their 2250 collection, which was, 2250 Travelers NFTs. We had over $150,000 traded on secondary in the first week alone. And their Gen 0 holders, which was their Genesis holders from way back in the day, they had a return of 8x on their NFTs. So our campaign was really broken down into these 3 main stages, right? So we have the kickoff phase, where we were planning on getting noticed, and then we had our launch phase. So, the rest of the video, I'm just going to break down exactly, how we were able to implement some of these strategies for them. So I do want you to stick around for them, because at the end, there's a couple of things that I feel like a lot of project founders can really take away from this video. So before we actually continue, I want to show you here a quick screenshot from their analytics. I will say though, Twitter's just being very weird, so it wasn't allowing me to get the full month of December. We joined the team around January, but this is pretty much a screenshot, right? So we have here from September to December 1st. You can see here the team wasn't very active on Twitter. They weren't getting that many results, so around 1.8 thousand impressions, 9.4 engagement rate, 70 new followers, 85 video views. So you can see that they weren't getting that many results. So I'm going to actually show this to you. So this was our kickoff phase campaign. So this is the results that we were able to bring in. So our team actually joined exactly January 16th. And our kickoff campaign was about almost 2 months, 2.5 months. So you can see here they had a big spike, which I am going to dive to in a little bit. But the kickoff campaigns brought in 350,000 impressions, 12.4 thousand new followers. So you can already see the increase, in all the numbers that we were able to bring in. So there was a couple of things that really played a key role into, the increase of their campaign, how we were able to really kick off their whole marketing, and really, cement the ChronosWorlds name into the ecosystem. So to be honest with you, to be frank, this is probably one of the most important stages of your marketing campaign. The kickoff phase helps set the tone for the remaining of the campaign because you're able to come up very strong. You're able to show the community that you're here to stay, you have a great product, and that you're going to be releasing a lot more information to come. So there's two main things that we really focused on in this kickoff campaign, right? So first, it was the content that was being posted. Going back to the point that I mentioned earlier, the content that the team was able to put out was very high quality. So you can see here we had some gameplay videos. Majority of our first kickoff campaign was really registered around gameplay videos. And also it was three main things. So we have gameplay, partnerships, and where we started the funnel to bring in some of the impressions we were getting into actual potential users by allowing them to sign up with their email so that we could then retarget them in the future, and they would pretty much just get access to the beta, and they would get some sort of starter pack within the game. So you can see here we have two videos of some of the gameplay. Here we announced our big partnership with Cetify, which is one of the biggest incubations or incubator programs in Web3 as a whole. And here is the tweet where we pretty much kicked off our website and also allowed people to sign up for the starter pack, which was a huge success. I believe we had about 30,000 people that signed up from that after we removed all the bots. So that's really good numbers from a kickoff campaign. So how are we able to really achieve these results in such a short period of time? So as our team joined, there was a significant boost on the content performance. And the main reason that this happened is because of the three key strategies that we implemented, right? So as I showed you here earlier, right, you can see the before our team joined, which was 1.8 thousand impressions, until the after, right? So this was just in the kickoff campaign. You will see how every campaign, the campaigns pretty much doubled because we were just doubling down on the campaigns and the sizes that we were, putting out a lot of content and collaborating with a lot of these communities. So the first thing was that we focused a lot on collaboration. So the main push started when, we started collaborating and setting up these group chats with the top tier communities in the space. So our team at Webflow has connections to some of the biggest gaming guilds and communities in the space. So what we started to do was opening up group chats and getting in front of these communities, letting them know like, hey, ChronosWorlds is here. They have an amazing product. Since they trust us, they know that every client that we take on, that we work with, that we bring to them is of high quality. They were more lenient to interact with them, keep an eye on them, and really support us on the kickoff campaign. So in a matter of days, we were basically able to get ChronosWorlds in front of 200 of the most influential communities in Web3 and their team members, which started bringing in organic support from the start. So what does this look like, right? Let's say you have some of the biggest gaming guilds and communities in the space. You're able to bring your product in front of them. All the team members that are in that group chat are already very aware and have some sort of insider information that you're able to share with them, make them more bullish. They'll share with their communities sometimes, but if they don't right away, the team will be more active on your socials, keeping an eye on them, interacting with your tweets, commenting, liking, following, etc., which in the algorithm will then in turn into more impressions and more eyes coming in the future. So that was one of the first things we focused on. The second thing we really focused on was our partnerships. So our partners played a massive role in our kickoff campaign. So the team had incubation partnerships with two of the biggest launchpads in Web3, which are Cetify and Elixir Games. So those were already amazing partnerships that the team has been nurturing and had already built over the last couple of months. So we were really able to tap into those partnerships and utilize them to kind of kick off the campaign, right? So as we go back here, you can see that one of our big pushes was actually the Cetify announcement. So you can see it's brought in 43,000 impressions, almost 800 likes, almost 500 comments, all organic. And it's because Cetify holds a very strong brand in the Web3 ecosystem. So when you're able to attach a new project to a massive brand in the space, you're able to get, the attention of a lot of the KOLs in the community in the space, especially when you work with a brand like Cetify. They're able to be very supportive with their KOLs, the network. They're able to do retweets, etc. So it brought in a lot of impressions that we were able to pretty much tap into, right away from the beginning. And the biggest thing that we really tapped into was the KOLs. So this is something that the team was lacking in a way because they didn't have that many connections to KOLs. So this was probably one of the most impactful strategies that we implemented, and it simply tripled our reach from day one. So in the first 3 weeks of starting, we were able to work with over 30 creators and we had them talking about ChronosWorlds without spending a single dollar on marketing, simply by having a good product and attracting our name to, and attaching our name to some of the biggest companies in Web3. So what do I mean by this, right? So we were able to get the attention from some of the biggest KOLs in the space because we had that product. They were excited to get this in front of their community. So what we did is we leveraged the attention that we had, implemented it, and being like, hey, we can get your community whitelist spots. We can give you guys some whitelist spots. All you have to do is, be active and interact, and also make a tweet about ChronosWorlds earlier on, showing your support, and we'll make sure that your community gets taken care of. So what happened there is that when we tapped into our network of KOLs, after we brought that first organic attention, it was a lot easier to close a lot of these deals, I guess you could call them, or these partnerships with the KOLs, because now they were very excited and seeing that, hey, Cetify is behind these guys, so they must be very legit. So what we did here was, like I said, we were able to leverage the success and the attention that ChronosWorlds had to then utilize it to get some of these KOLs talking about ChronosWorlds earlier on, which then just snowballed into kind of the next phase that we had, right? So after the first couple of weeks, of starting to announce our partnerships, working with different KOLs, setting up group chat with top communities in the space, this is where it's all pretty much put together, right? So for our first big push, we were able to make a lot of noise, and you can see here, right? We brought in 150,000 impressions, almost 3,000 likes, 2.6K comments, all organic from utilizing and tapping into our network of not only the partnerships the team have brought in, but our personal network at our team of KOLs, communities, partnerships that we could tap into to drive all this traffic, right? So I actually want to show you guys the Twitter so that we can be as transparent as possible. So as I mentioned, these were some of our first tweets, kind of like a showcase. So very focused on storytelling, some of the gameplay, opening up the website, etc. And here's where we really had that big push, which was kind of like our break point or our breakthrough point where where we were able to bring in a lot of impressions. We had some of the biggest KOLs interacting with some of our stuff. Founder of Cetify, Yellow Panther, Addis, Shiv, JYP. You can see a lot of the big names that are in here. And this is all from our network, right? So, this is a network that we've curated for the last 2 to 3 years that we're able to tap into for any of our clients to get very similar results that we got for ChronosWorlds. So that's pretty much how we were kind of able to get a lot of these results for the kickoff campaign. And here, here's a couple of screenshots from some of the KOs that we first worked with. And kind of what their content looked like, right? So you can see here, a lot of them are basically around early project calls, because as I mentioned, obviously ChronosWorlds was pretty earlier on their campaign. So the main idea of this campaign was to just help bring organic and kind of like that first wave of attention to ChronosWorlds, because we knew that once we got that attention, we could then funnel them down to our Discord, to future activations that the team was doing, and kind of nurture them through the different KOLs we were working with throughout the rest of the campaign that we were able to get. So you can see here, NFT Boy, Ola, Jakob, Kinetic, Langruz, a couple of the bigger guys, right? So that's a little bit of our strategy for the kickoff phase. That's how we were able to generate these results, right? And I think our biggest push, like I mentioned, was probably this video, this trailer, which was really well done by the team, announcing, both of our partnerships and really tapping into our network to help push this forward. All right, so now that we went over our kickoff phase, I actually want to show you guys how we were, how we were getting noticed, how we were able to maintain that traction that we got from our kickoff phase into our second phase, which is getting noticed phase. And you can see here from, March 31st to around May 31st, we were able to increase the numbers from about, I believe, let me check here, it was 343,000 impressions to around 434,000 impressions. So we had an increase in 100,000 impressions more than for the last phase. So this phase was really about nurturing the attention that we had earlier on from some of the activations that we did, nurture them so that once we did that big campaign, the last push before mint, we were able to really get a lot of attention. So one of the reasons why this campaign was sort of long is because we were not sure about the market sentiment. We wanted to really maintain and curate a really strong community before we decided to do any activation, whether that's the launch or the TGE. So this is where we really focused on curating a lot of that community. So I want to dive into this phase here, right, and give you a little bit of context. So in this phase, we already got some traction going and are getting constant DMs from some of the top projects and KOLs to partner up and collaborate. So the main focus shifted from keeping this traction and double down on more engaging activations. So what do I mean by this, right? So some of the activations that you might see here is when we launched our mini game, when we were focusing on bringing a lot more traction into our Discord, doubling down a little bit on some of the KOLs we were working with, still keeping some of the back end stuff so that we can then push them forward later on in the campaign. But in this kind of phase, we were just really nurturing some of these connections, right? So there was 3 main activations that we were able to implement to get these results on this second phase. So we had our creators tournament, our ambassadors, and our only up mini game launch. So our creators tournament was actually something that was very unique, that we were able to work with the Cetify team to help plan. So we had around 17 creators activated on this. All of them were making content. All of them were actively interacting with our stuff. So it was a very great push that the team kind of put out there. Our ambassadors, which I'll go into in a second, and our only up mini game launch. So I want to actually first dive into the ambassadors. So one of the most powerful tools that I believe any project out there can implement right away is onboarding ambassadors. Why? Because you're able to tap into their audience consistently and really kind of get into the brain of their audience and be like, okay, ChronosWorlds is a really good game. They have a really good product. This creator that I'm following and I trust is actively talking about them. So I should definitely keep an eye out for them. So here we have TQ, we had June, and we had Carney join us. Mainly, these two guys are mainly really heavily on the gaming scene, and June is very well trusted creator that talks a lot more about different projects, why he's watching them, why they might go up, etc. So it's just a really good lineup where we were able to tap into both the gaming niche and also more of like the alpha and the Web3, the more degen audience that if I could say. So as I mentioned, the team decided to partner up exclusively with 3 creators in the gaming niche to help push ChronosWorlds brand forward. So this is a big suggestion, as I mentioned, to all founders out there, because with ambassadors, you have creators who are consistently talking about your project. And I believe that this is a very, very powerful tool that any project founder can really put out there. So the reason why this is because you're able to build trust with a community and the whole ecosystem. So like I said, if you're a project founder, I would highly recommend tapping into some ambassadorships. I think these can be very powerful, and you don't have to be very cash intensive with them. You can offer them, maybe potentially equity. You could offer tokens. You could offer NFTs. Whatever you're able to come to an agreement with some of these creators, I would probably highly recommend doing some of these things. So going into our creators program, as I mentioned, this is a very big activation that the team had, because we were able to have, around 17 creators making content around ChronosWorlds. All of them are very, very big into the gaming ecosystem. So we were really able to tap into the whole gaming community. We had creators doing live streams. We had creators talk about
in this tournament. So right now,
in the tournament that they had, battling against each other, which was very interesting to see for a lot of the community. We were putting out different content. I believe this whole campaign helped bring in about 150 to 200,000 impressions alone. So this was just a very, very big push that we were able to kind of put out there. And you can see here, we're working with some big creators, right? So Crypto Hato, Carney, IC, Cairo, some of our ambassadors are in here. It's Bolts. I think it was a very, very good push that, if you're a project out there, I would definitely recommend doing this, because you're able to tap into an audience, as I mentioned, of the gaming niche specifically. Build trust with them because you have the creators actively talking about you, interacting with some of your stuff, and you're just able to build that trust with their audience like no other campaign can really do. So I would definitely highly recommend doing a creators tournament. The third thing that we planned here was the launch of our minigame, or only a minigame. So I want to go sort of fast through this because I know the next phase is going to be very intensive. So basically here it was just very easy. So we launched our mini game, tapped into a different couple communities, gave them early access codes, utilized our ambassadors to help push this forward. And, based through that, the community that we have built, the attention that we have gathered, we were able to bring in about 40,000 users into this campaign. This was with us running consistent tournaments with the community, giving back to them. And I think it was just a really good campaign, for the project as a whole. We were able to kind of showcase the product, which I think was just really, really good for the community. So I don't want to dive and spend too much time on this second phase. So, what I will say is that, you can see here that we brought in almost 500,000 impressions. So it was a really, really good campaign that we were able to kind of tap into. But I want to actually get ready into the launch phase, because this is probably one of the most exciting ones, at least for me and the team, I believe. It was just a very exciting time because we were able to see kind of the fruits of our labor, right? We were marketing for about 4 to 5 months, and now is when the heavy push came in. And you can see here from, the increase on the demand, I guess you could say, for the ChronosWorlds NFTs and the collection and, the ecosystem that we were growing here, right? So in this phase, from around May 31st to July 6th, we had nearly 1 million impressions that we brought in just through our content. This is just through our analytics. So the launch phase, this is probably where, as a project, you want to put most of your resources into. So this was probably the most crucial part of our campaign. This is where the biggest activations happened to ensure we had the right traction before launch and had the attention of the space. If you're not able to get this launch phase right, all this effort that you put in beforehand is going to pretty much go unnoticed, because a lot of the community and the space moves very, very fast. So if you're not able to maintain that traction in that launch phase and really do some of those heavier activations, all of these things that you've done beforehand are going to pretty much go unnoticed. So I want to focus in on this and show you where we really focus the most. So there's 2 big activations that we did. We had our SocialFi campaign and we had our big cinematic trailer. So I'm going to dive into our SocialFi campaign first. So our SocialFi campaign is where we were able to onboard users into our own platform, collect their emails, collect their information, so that we can then retarget them. And in exchange for them signing onto the platform, they would have consistent quests that were being activated for them, where they could then perform some of these quests, which would be like retweet a post, follow us, etc. They would get points, and in the future they'll be able to claim them for Sphere tokens. So our goal with the SocialFi campaign was to acquire as many users as we could and have users that we have access to via our own platform for in-game pushes in the future. So pretty much the goal here was drive users to the platform, increase our interactions and our activations and our reach before launch by utilizing this platform and our users, and maintain them on our platform so that we can then retarget them for in-game activations in the future. So here is a couple of screenshots from some of the creators that we were able to work with. You can see some of the content that was being put out. So it's mainly focused around the SocialFi campaign, why people should farm, our Sphere token, how they should farm it, what the rewards will be, etc. And I believe, with this push we had, this is where we had the 40,000 users to our sign up, and this push alone did 340,000 impressions with 8.8k likes, 8,000 comments, 8,000 retweets. So it was a very big activation that we were kind of able to tap into here. So we were able to tap into our network of KOLs and activate around 150 KOLs to push forward the SocialFi, which resulted, as I mentioned, in over 40,000 users signed up and verified. So these are after bots. So this is, people that signed up with their email, their wallet, their Twitter account that was connected, etc. And this campaign alone brought in 620,000 impressions across all the creators' posts. So creators brought in 620,000 impressions. Our post is, did 340,000 impressions. So this campaign alone in total included almost 1 million impressions right before our TGE or our mint happened. Then we had our big cinematic trailer. So this was the second push that we focused on heavily about a week and a half before our mint actually came up. So this was a trailer that, the team worked closely with a big studio. You can see here that we had 300,000 impressions, 3.3K likes, 6.1K likes, 3.3K comments, sorry. We dropped this, I believe it was June 13th. So this is where we were really heavily focused on bringing traction to the IP, to this video, to showcase the quality of the product that, the teams are working with. So the big cinematic trailer was one of the last pushes before our mint, as I mentioned. And we wanted to showcase the quality of the work that ChronosWorlds is working with and get people more excited about what we're building. So the goal here was just get people excited, get them prepared for our mint coming up. And our main goal here was partnering up with some of those top KOLs that we were working with and drive a lot of traction to this trailer so that we could tap into all the markets in the space, get the attention of the whole community, and then drive that traction down to our mint. So we work with about 180 communities to bring traction to this trailer. Here is a couple more screenshots. Maya, Have, Icy, Becca, Loki, Juanito. Like, you can see the type of content that these creators are putting out was really heavily focused around the trailer, the quality of the work that the team is putting out, and how people should be looking forward to the mint. So what did these two activations result in, right? So the last month before mint was the most important one, since if you're not able to bring in traction, then all of the effort that you've done beforehand pretty much goes unnoticed. This is because the space moves very, very fast. There's a lot of projects that are coming out. So what I usually suggest to a lot of the projects is that you want to have a very big activation before your mint or your TGE or whatever big activation you have happen, because that's where you'll keep the traction of the ecosystem and drive them down to whatever funnel you kind of want to put them through. So the last thing that we really did for this kind of like last campaign was we activated some of the biggest creators in our network and in the space to do a mint reminder tweet 48 hours before the mint actually went live, to ensure that we, that traction that we were able to get through our SocialFi campaign, through our, our cinematic trailer push, we were able to keep that traction and drive as many of them people that, that seen our project to be interested in our mint, to increase secondary volume, to increase the floor price, to increase the interest overall around the NFT and around ChronosWorlds. And I think we were able to do that because the project sold out in a couple of hours, right? The guaranteed phase was open for about 2 hours. Once first come, first serve came around, sold out pretty fast. And as I mentioned earlier, we had 150,000 impressions go live, or $150,000 in volume traded in the first week alone. So I hope this video was detailed enough to give some of the project founders out there an idea of how they can approach the market, what some of the strategies they can implement and utilize so that they can bring as much traction as they can to whatever activation that is that they're doing. And overall, I mean, this is exactly how we helped ChronosWorlds raise over $1 million, reach over 3 million impressions, all in under 6 months, and with under $50,000 spent. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And if you are a project founder out there, or if you know any project founders out there, feel free to book a call with our team. We'll pretty much just provide you with the information that you need, that we notice that you could be better with. And if we're not able to find any alignment, we do have a lot of partners that we work with that might be able to work with you guys. But pretty much, our goal is to provide as much value as we can to a lot of the project founders out there. So feel free to book a call with, on our website. You just have to fill out a quick application. Our team will review it. If we think it's a good fit, we'll hop on a call with your team, check over what you guys have been doing, what you guys could implement, and see if there's anything that, our team could work together. But other than that, guys, I hope you had an amazing time here with me. I hope this was of some sort of value to you guys. And then that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.